Hello everyone, and welcome to the Fictional Vortex. So we are back with an interesting movie on What If Naruto Become a Descendant of Ancient Half-Dragon. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. A researcher and geneticist named Embryo, who was tired of seeing war after war, gave up on humanity at the time and decided to create a new kind of humanity. A humanity whom were gentle and intelligent with no desire for war or conflict. Thus, he created a new magical technology known as the Light of Mana, which was meant to bring everyone together. Everyone was happy and was once again evolving, and there was no more wars or discrimination. The end came the ones who were born without the power or ability to use mana, due to a bug in the system of the Light of Mana. This was unexpected to Embryo, who at the time was taking his designs for peace too far, and used the appearance of Norma to his advantage by making them scapegoats, creating the belief that they are born, mana-starved, antisocial, violent mutants seeking to destroy all that was mana. They're the governments. In order to give the world an enemy to direct their hatred against, since he never fully cured humanity of its hatred and discrimination. As a result, Norma were the pariah of the world. And those like Norma who can't use mana weren't even considered human anymore, like the ancient people. The ancient people are those who came before the mana users who fought against the world of mana. But due to the superior technology against their now defunct technology, they were on the verge of extinction. When they did manage to steal a valuable machine called Vilcus that was a Ragna male, a prototype of the current hybrid paramale mobile suits, they contact with Norma under the thumb of the mana users. When Norma are identified, they are taken a remote island under the jurisdictions of one of the governments called Arsenal, where they are forced to fight against dimensional invaders called dragons with paramale, the latter aka the Norma's coffins. It was a military life that was hell for them, and some within the island had enough. Both factions made contact, and initiated a plan dubbed Libertas, to rebel against the world government and end the hatred and discrimination of Norma. It was a good plan and well thought though. Unfortunately they underestimated the opposition, resulting in the defeat of Vilcus, and the loss of many ancient people with only a handful left. With two orphans taken into Arsenal, enter Naruto, one with spiky sun-kissed blonde hair, ocean blue eyes, and peach-tan skin with whisker marks on his cheeks, and his childhood friend Tusk. One with brown hair and purple eyes, with one becoming a paramale rider and Vilcus's knight, and the others becoming Arsenal's resident spy master searching for the remaining ancient people years later. Opening theme: Kinda No Resistance, Forbidden Resistance by Nana Mizuki. And right now, Naruto was not happy. Naruto was a loyal soldier of Arsenal and the leader of the Zero Squadron. Arsenal's best group of paramale riders above the first squad of death, with a high kill counter that rewarded them loads of respect, fear, jealousy, and money. Due to the trauma he's experienced to witnessing the death of his father and his people, Naruto was a bit of a jerk and an asshole with a grim and grumpy demeanor. Unlike the other higher-ups, he isn't overly arrogant, and can be respectful at times to those who deserve it, and is surprisingly even noble and empathic that thankfully does not cloud his combat skills. He wasn't loyal in the beginning due to working under the one he believed caused his parents' death with her failed plan, but slowly became loyal when his resentment for her vanished over time. But now it has returned full force, and evidenced when he barged into the office of the Commander-in-Chief of Arsenal's office and decked said Commander-in-Chief with a haymaker that knocked her over his deck. "So I take it that you heard," Jill mused, rubbing her jaw. Naruto pinned her to the wall with one arm. "Oh yeah, he's also has a superhuman physiology that inhuman skills of strength, speed, and agility," with the answer on how he has such skills still remaining a mystery to him to his day. "I know that you're upset, but your assistance in dealing with that girl was necessary. The least I could do was make sure you didn't remember that you did to her," Jill said, with Naruto's hold tightening, nearly making it difficult to breathe. "I'll remember that the next time I spike your drink with Vitura so you can arse someone without remembering, you fucking bitch," Naruto shouted in her face. "You think I wouldn't have found out? Why do it to someone who follows your orders without question? To me, to her, sacrifices are necessary, for the greater good." Jill choked out as she grabbed his offending arm. "No matter what you've done, for me, or Libertas. So this is your true nature, huh? No wonder Libertas failed the first time. It just means my father, Tusk's parents. Everyone, died for nothing. For you and Vilcus. Naruto snapped and slammed her against the wall. You could, never, understand, Jill countered weakly but was silenced by an elbow to the face that knocked her out. I understand one thing clear enough, and that's logic. Logic that you lack in spade. Naruto spat as she sprawled down the wall and onto the floor. Noticing some interesting papers on her desk, he grabbed them and left her office before bumping into Maggie, the surgeon of Arsenal with red wavy hair and wearing doctor's clothing. I see you saw Jill. Maggie commented and raised her hands when Naruto gave her a glare. I recently learned what she did to you and checked my stock to find a vial of Vetura missing. Zola took your blood the day BEF. Or last and gave it to me for testing yesterday. There were trances of not only Vetura, but some strong sedative as well. I talked to the cook the day you were drugged, and she had reported that Jill was hovering over her workstation for a while the day Ainge was en route here. I'll have the plant used for Vetura. It came from under lock and key from now on. Too little too late on that end. Whatever. But make sure you're the only one with the key, so I'll know whose ass to kick when it ends up in someone's drink. Naruto said ominously, with Maggie smirking. I already changed the locks, she said, with Naruto nodding. How is she, Zola? Naruto asked with concern. Oh yeah, before he confronted Jill, he was in a battle with the dragons with the girls of Arsenal, a battle that claimed the lives of 2 new recruits. All due to a dangerous deserter known as Ainge. It was a mistake to put her into battle when she was still in denial about her situation. The last he saw, she latched onto Zola's paramail, scared out of her mind. And both of them were hit. Naruto tried to help, but he was blindsided by the Galleon-class dragon and left his paramail severely damaged that caused him to see rash alongside Zola and Ainge that knocked him out and caused him to remember Jill drugging him. He was then awakened by Ainge's scream, and saw Zola bleeding out from her eye, barely hanging on to her life, just as his squad found them. I'm sorry Naruto, but she lost too much blood out of her eye socket. She held on the best she could, but didn't make it in the end. Maggie reported sadly and gave Naruto her prosthetic eye. I'm sorry for your loss. Naruto didn't say anything as his eye twitched, but nodded and walked away. Naruto was more than friends with Zola Axberg. She was hard-working, cared for her juniors, and valued her comrades, traits that Naruto could get behind. He and her were in a SL relationship after years of teasing each other, and would join her when she dominated her subordinates Hilda, Rosalie, and Chris. She had something to tell Naruto, but was unable to due to the dragon's coming, but he figured she knew he was drugged based on the symptoms he wasn't capable of Ainge when he gets some action every night with Zola, Hilda, Rosalie, and Chris, along with the girls in his squad. It appears that Jill had drugged Naruto with a certain unnamed plan. That makes one vulnerable to hypnotic suggestion with the victim having no recollection of what happened. Hence his bewilderment when Ainge freaked out the moment she saw him while she was being introduced to the members of the first squad. Naruto turned to see 4 girls, one with red hair, one with green hair, one with blue hair, and the other with brown hair, running towards him as he rounded a hallway. They were the members of his Zero Squadron, the Naruto Squad. Colin, CC, Ayano, Sake, not now. Naruto growled as he sped up his walk, not in the mood for any kind of show and tell, or boob flashing. Naruto, it's okay. Sure everyone's on the island heard, but they know it's Jill's doing. Colin assured, making him, they all know you too well. Really? No way. Naruto said skeptically with Colin smirking. Yes way, our dear captain. What happened confirmed the rumors about the higher-ups having plants that are not found on this earth. CC told him, that place. And with the hypnotic smell used to make that mind control agent was only one of them with the rest unknown. It's enough to make everyone on Arsenal wary of Jill, since she used it on you, a special L. Why after clearing a clearly still in denial Ainge for duty when her first deployment got 3 riders killed. No one's blaming you, but everyone feels that you shouldn't be alone with Jill again. At least have someone with you. Ayano suggested, with Naruto nodding. Duly noted, Officer Ayano. Naruto replied dryly and scoffed, too bad Zola can't be here anymore. Condolences though. You and Zola were close. We all were, Sake remarked while blushing when happy memories between them all surfaced. You know that Ainge. I don't blame her at all. Her death, along with Coco and Miranda, are all on Jill, and that's a fact. But starting today, no more deaths, and no more coffins. Those three's funerals will be the last, Naruto said, with his team nodding in agreement. Where's Ainge now? In the medical wing, getting a visit from the first squad. Sally is the new captain of the first squad, by the way, with Hilda being promoted to lieutenant. The latter with Rosalie and Chris are quite upset, Colin reported with Naruto sighing loudly. I would imagine. Now that Zola's gone, it's up to me to set those three idiots straight and prevent them from killing Ainge. Her actions did cause the deaths of Zola, Coco, and Miranda. But at the end of the day, Jill is the one responsible for their deaths. The bitch should have never forced Zola to take Ainge into battle with the others. Naruto Street, aided as they made their way to the medical wing. You and Zola were the mold that held everyone together, but after what happened to you both, we may have to break away from Arsenal soon. Jill's Actio, NS have been questionable as of late aside from spiking you with Vatura. We're even started to question her motives. Ayano commented. Well, we can't break away until the bus is fully operational. We, have to double our efforts into repairing it, Sake added as they arrived at the room where Ainge is held. Damn straight, Sake. Since I have nothing else to do, I'll continue working on that cloak. Ing module my dad had in his journal and notes. Naruto agreed and opened the door to find Hilda, the redhead Twintails girl, axe kicking an already bandaged Ainge in the stomach. Ouch. We come at a bad time. You're one lucky bitch, Ainge. You. She screamed and struggled to get away, but froze when she saw Naruto's eyes turned from his normal ocean blue to yellow with slits, without his knowledge, as he aimed his killer intent at her. Shut the fuck up. I've had enough of those damn outbursts out of you, Naruto said coldly with his eyes returning to normal before the others could see. You'll reopen your wounds. Don't go wasting Magi-sensei's efforts to patching your dumbass up now, or I'll be most upset that you've wasted her time. She's seriously screwed up. Her time shouldn't have been wasted on her. She deserves to die. Zola's dead because of her, Hilda exclaimed angrily, with Naruto shaking his head and patted her on the shoulder. Hardly. She should have never been out in the field to begin with. I do remember Zola and I reporting that fact directly to the commander herself yesterday. She was a flight risk, but Jill didn't listen and stuck her with us anyway. And look what happened. Zola, Coco, Miranda, all dead because that idiot didn't listen to us. So if you're looking to blame anyone, blame Jill. Don't even waste your energy on this sad sack full of denials. Naru, to advise the newly christened Salia squad as he scowled at his fellow blonde, who was heavily bandaged. Ainge, she's a new arrival on Arsenal. She was formerly known as Angeli Sakuruga Mitsurugi, the first princess of the Mitsurugi Empire. She lived a grand life and was on her way to being baptized for her coming-of-age ceremony when her own brother, Prince Julio Oscar Mitsurugi, betrayed her by outing her as a Norma, and revealed that the whole baptism ritual was a simulation. The event then erupted into chaos that ended in the death of Ainge's mother Sophia when she tried to protect her, and Ainge's capture. She was brought to Arsenal, processed, and got a physical courtesy of Jill and Emma, with the unwilling participation of a drugged Naruto. What a disgrace. Here lies the great former first princess of the Mitsurugi Empire, who vowed to wipe out all Norma to make a better world for the world of mana, only to find that she is the very being that she and the other idiot mana users despises. Talk about irony at its finest. See, commented with a cruel smirk as she leaned her Ainge. I am not a Norma, Ainge whispered defiantly with CC laughing before drawing back from her. Yeah, keep telling yourself that, Naruto said as he went over and patted Ainge's casted leg, making her whimper in pain. By the way, those petitions you sent. Well, the petitions, have the nations responded to them? Ainge asked with hope in her voice that disgusted some of the others. With gusto. Tell her, Naruto, Colin replied as Naruto placed them on Ainge's stomach. She was also tied to the bed so she couldn't make her injuries worse. Will do, Colin. I took the liberty of reading them. Quite boring, honestly. As soon as they saw who sent them, they refused to receive them. They don't act now. DGE a Princess Angelis or an Empire of Misurugi, the latter which is gone by the way. It ceased to exist the day you were revealed as a Norma, as confirmed by Officer Emma. Hell, there were also riots and revolts. So much for Mana uniting everyone together peacefully, And they call the girls here violent and antisocial. Naruto remarked as a mixture of shock and confusion appeared on Ange's face. It's in the newspaper here. Got it from Emma when one of her countrymen from Rosenbloom brought it when bringing supplies to the island. Sake said, with Ange looking at the headline in horror, confirming what they'd been saying. As for your family, your mother's dead, your father's line up for execution for lying to everyone about your nature, and your siblings. Dropped off the radar. Long story short, they're done. Ayano said with finality, with Ange's eyes welling up with tears. All right, enough. Let the girl wallow in sorrow. It's the least we can do since she's had quite a day. So show's over girls. Time to go. Naruto said and ushered his squad and the Salia squad out. What about you? The blue twin-tailed girl, Salia, asked when Naruto stayed behind. Putting Ange on suicide watch, with yours truly. Naruto replied before closing the door. Sighing to himself, he went over to the other bed with a cover body on it. Lifting the cover up, he saw Zola's corpse with her one eye open. Naruto looked at her for a few seconds before tears dropped from his eyes as he wept silently. Hopefully we'll meet again in the afterlife, somewhere, rest in peace, love, Naruto whispered. Kissing her forehead before using his finger to close her remaining eye and recovered Zola's body. Ange watched him, this time with normal eyes, as he went to the window to look out it, and flinched. When Naruto's eyes turned yellow with slits again with his canines elongating and his hand bleeding from clenching his fist too hard. Jill, you fucking bitch. The next day, you cannot be serious. No, fucking way. A clearly unhappy and a not amused Naruto said loudly as the door to the garage beneath the hangar bay opened. Naruto, his squad, Jill, and Ange just got back from attending the funerals of Zola, Coco, and Miranda. There, Naruto snapped when Ange spouted her usual, not a Norma, banter and anti-Norma sentiment. He handed her a bullet and commanded her to use the light of mana on it. She failed to, miserably. Which led to her breaking down complete with extra angsting. She wanted to die, which Jill stated that she's only allowed to die on the battlefield. Naruto wanted to see, countered that he wouldn't allow her to die however, since she was partly responsible for the deaths of Zola, Coco, and Miranda, but took back such words, stating that people like her found it easy to say that they want to die to escape the pain of the world, but the truth can only be found in the face of death to show who they really are and what they want in the end. With that out of the way, Naruto was close to attacking Jill to make her pay for her stupidity, when Salia came up and reported that the dragons from before were found, with Jill deciding that Ange is to be thrown into battle again to die. Surprisingly, Naruto and his squad didn't object, but it was the machine that was about to be given to her by Jill as when they got pissed off. Particularly Naruto. There's no choice. No. New paramails come in yesterday's delivery, and this is the only one that's available. Jill explained as the machine was uncovered, but Naruto shook this head. Even so, the Vilcus, she isn't flight-worthy. The engine's still in shambles and the energy regulations still a mess. It's impossible to fix and patch up. Believe me, May and I tried. Naruto said loudly with Jill nodding in understanding. In other words, it's a piece of shit that might fall apart. It's perfect for someone that wants to die. Jill stated as she looked at Ange. Vilcus is not a piece of. This is bullshit. Yuto complained angrily as Ange walked forward in a trance-like state, whispering that she can die like she wanted if she rides in it, that she could be herself again. You couldn't ride it. Salia here couldn't ride it. What makes you think that Ange can ride it? In a broken down state no less. Colin yelled, with Salia looking at her in contempt at the jab at her own failure, as Jill walked away. After giving Salia words of encouragement. I see. This is her last gamble to find a suitable pilot for Vilcus. She's put all her chips in on this one. CC noted and looked at Naruto in pity who was grabbing hair in frustration. So what now, Knight of Vilcus? You know what this'll means if this impossible gamble pays off, Sake said as Naruto kicked a container. That my charge will be the girl I rode unwillingly. This is like a fairy tale worthy of Brother Grimm. Naruto groaned and looked at Ainge. If this pays off we're both screwed, Ainge. Ainge looked over and caught something he threw at her. Her royal ring with a green gem. Nicked it off the bitch. Something for you to have for the afterlife, if you can make it, that is. See, Colin, Ayano, Sake, let's roll out. Yes, sir, they chanted as they followed Naruto out, with Ainge and Salia looking after them. Half an hour later, at Arsenal, paramales are split into 4 types. Arquebus for long-ranged combat type paramales, Glaive for melee combat type paramales, Hausa for heavy artillery type paramales, and Razor for high-speed combat type paramales. Naruto, having a knack for engineering and technology from his late father, managed to build a paramale based off the Vilcus and combine all 4 types of paramales into it, creating a variable type paramale that was difficult to operate, and required special training to be able to handle them. It took a year to operate it successfully, and a few more to build 4 more for the girls in his newly created squadron that survived the training he took. It was a new type of paramale that were also labeled Ragna males like the Vilcus, labeled Chasers aka Neo Ragna males, and only Naruto, CC, Colin, Ayano, and Sake could handle them, along with customizing them. Exia, ready to deploy. Naruto declared as his crimson, blue, white, and black paramale activated and floated upward. Lancelot, ready to deploy. CC declared as her pink and white paramale activated and floated upward. Gurren, ready to deploy. Colin declared as her red, yellow, and black paramale activated and floated upwards. Alexandra, ready to deploy. Ayano declared as her white and tan paramale activated and floated upwards. Carmilla, ready to deploy. Sake declared as her green and black paramale activated and floated upwards. Naruto squad, now taking off. Naruto announced, and they all flew out of the hangar behind the Salia squad. Why is she coming with us? She's the one who killed Onisama, and we're fighting alongside her. What a joke. I'll kill her. I kill her. I swear I'll kill her. I heard she wants to die, so why don't we check out how the Burn Princess dies, Cut the chatter and stay focused, you 3. Naruto snapped at Rosalie, Chris, and Hilda, as he and his squad caught up with the Salia squad, and sweat dropped as the Vilcus was wobbling vicariously. How pathetic. Naruto told you that it's Jill's fault, but of course her authority's too powerful. So you go to the next best thing to take out your grief. CC laughed through the comms. What was that, you green-haired bitch? Rosalie snapped and glared at her, with CC pulling her Yi down and sticking her tongue out at her. What's that machine? Salia, isn't that paramale pretty? Awesome. The pink-clad petite girl, Vivian, said in awe, isn't it, Salia? We're on a mission, Vivian. Like Naruto said, stay focused. Vivian told her. Enemy shadow confirmed. Quote, and here they come. Naruto said as the stray galleon class dragon from the last battle surfaced from the water below them. Naruto squad. Pull back and don't engage. What? Why? Sake asked, confused until she saw Ainge in her machine again. Oh. Don't worry. We have plenty of cash stored away. One missed battle isn't going to hurt us. Naruto said with certainty as the 4 girls in his squad heeded his orders and he switched their comms to a private channel so command couldn't hear them, as Salia's quad shifted their paramales to the humanoid destroyer mode and engaged the dragon. Besides, I want to test a theory right here and here. A theory? Ayano questioned as the Salia squad loaded their freezing bullets. That a dragon learns and adapts from a previous battle. It'll prove that they're not simply mindless beasts looking to invade our world. Here, Naruto said as a glyph circle appeared in front of the dragon, with another circle that was larger than the other one appearing near the water directly below the attacking Salia squad. That's our leader. Right on the mark. CC common. Ted as the blue bolts from the last fight appearing from the circle and honed in on the Salia squad, who didn't see it coming until Vivian warned them, and was forced to evade, with Rosalie losing a leg on her paramale. Ah. They're coming right at us too. I can see that. Ladies, evasive maneuvers. Naruto ordered as they switched their specialized paramails to destroyer mode and shot the bolts away from them with their standard-issued submachine guns. It knew that it was doing. It was smart enough to set a trap for us. I was thinking the same thing, Naruto. Vivian agreed. What a sly bastard. There's no data about it attacking like this, Salia muttered in disbelief. First time for Ed as she saved the busty Pinkett of the Salia squad, Ursha, whose paramail was severely damaged. Hya, what do we do, Salia-chan? We're in danger, Ursha cried out. What can we do? Salia murmured as she, Vivian, Ursha, and Hilda were back-to-back fending off the dragon's seemingly endless barrage. Captain Zola, oi, your squad's in trouble, get a grip, Naruto advised his fellow captain as he flew next to her. Zola isn't here anymore. You're the captain now, Captain Salia. Oh boy, Salia snapped out of it and gasped as the dragon went into attack, evade. The paramail riders scattered away from the dragon, but Salia was caught on its wing. Naruto, the dragon's attack has been neutralized, for now, Colin reported as she and her teammates joined him just as Salia fired on the dragon, who was about to retaliate when it noticed Ainge flying towards it with the wrecked Vilcus. Look who decided to join the party. Everyone watched as Ainge flew towards the dragon whose sights was now on her, with Naruto feeling a twinge of worry. Not just for the Vilcus, but for the rider as well. Ainge, Naruto thought, before frowning when he saw her flinch and veered out of the way of the dragon's path, but she got hit by its tail whip, making him smirk. Well. Geez, all that talk and she can't even die properly. CC said haughtily as she leaned on her controls, watching Ainge right herself, almost doesn't even cut it. Naruto scoffed as he finished configuring his comms so that his team and Ainge can hear him and not the Salia squad, and command and taunted, is that all you got, Ainge? No. Once more, she cried, starting her death charge at the dragon again. Who fired its swarm of blue bolts at her? That'll definitely kill her, Ayano decided, but was surprised when Ainge started evading them and spiraled out of control. Wow. You gotta be kidding. Fail. Looks like you're all talk. Ainge, Naruto said as she right herself again and panted against her controls. Not only that, but a liar and a coward too. I'm not. No. I have to die, properly. She cried openly as she dragon loomed over her and grabbed her just as Naruto flew over to her. You can't even do that right. You're pathetic, Ainge. You think dying in an escape. You're just deluding yourself. I know, and you know that you don't want to die like Zola, Coco, and Miranda. Naruto yelled, making her remember their deaths, evidenced by the look of terror on her face as she shook her head, and holy crap, she's pissed herself. Ha. Sake laughed as a tick mark appeared on Naruto's head when seeing yellow liquid pouring onto the seat. Oh come on, really? Yeah, way to honor your others sacrifice by pissing in your seat. What did she say again? Live on Angeles. Naruto recited Ainge's mother's last words from the memorable broadcast, as the dragon opened its mouth to devour Ainge. You seem to be rethinking about your previous choice, so answer this. You really want to die like trash? And no, Ainge screamed, with a drop of her blood falling onto the gem of her ring, WH. It began to shine a bright light that engulfed her and the Vilcus that forced the dragon to let go and send Salia flying. The Vilcus, Salia said in awe as the Vilcus glowed with rainbow fram ents surrounding it and seemingly restored itself to its former glory. Has reawakened. Naruto finished with a smile as Ainge shifted her newly restored Vilcus into destroyer mode. Now Ainge, tell me, what do you want? I don't want to die. Ainge yelled as she engaged the dragon and fired her submachine gun while maneuvering around it until she shifted back to flight mode. I don't want to die. Atta girl, Ainge. Naruto smiled before turning serious when the dragon unleashed its blue bolt swarm. Naruto squad, move in to assist. Suppressive fire. Yes sir. Ainge shifted back to destroyer mode and used her sword to deflect the attack until Naruto, CC, Colin, Ayano, and Sake surrounded her to keep the swarm off her. We got this. Go, burn princess, Colin shouted, allowing Ainge to engage to dragon. She seethed and thrust the sword into the dragon's head, with blood spattering all over from its wound, and reared back before charging forward again, loading a freezing bullet in the process. Die. She unleashed the freezing bullet into the dragon's body, and it was more powerful than the Salia squad's own freezing bullet, which showed as a large mass of ice violently exploded out of its body, killing it instantly as it fell into the sea below, with an icy tomb erecting upon contact with the water. Well done, Ainge. Naruto praised her as her slightly crazed laughter filled the comms. I don't know what I'm feeling. It's just the excitement from the adrenaline rush you experienced, with the will to live as a bonus. It'll pass, Naruto stated offhandedly, with Zola's words ringing through Ainge's mind when she tried to have her way with her. You're getting excited. Quote, no, this isn't me. I don't want to kill to live. That's so dirty, so shameful, so selfish. That's what we Norma are all about. What am I supposed to do now? Ainge wondered and heard Naruto's voice again. Fight, and continue to win by grabbing life by the balls and making it your bitch. You'll find your answer then. Naruto replied and turned off his comms connection to Ainge as she let out an anguished scream, Yade Yade. This is gonna be troublesome. Graveyard, sunset, goodbye, father, mother, Oni-sama. Sylvia, never thought I'd find you here. I never peg you the type of gal to pay your final respects. Ainge looked over to see Naruto walking over to her, more specifically the graves. You know the you that night when I came here, and the you I've seen in the past few days, are completely different. Still, do you remember what happened that night? Ainge whispered loudly so Naruto could hear. It was just another day, nothing out of the ordinary. My team and me were eating dinner after watching that debacle that was your baptism ceremony. That time, all I remember was going to sleep and waking up in my bed the next morning. But after I crashed with you and Zola during the battle, I dreamed that Jill was talking to me, then I was in that torture room. A room I swore I could never do into. You were cuffed to the table, I was behind you, and, you know. After I woke up, I remember your previous reactions to me around the time we met, and I know that it wasn't a dream. Needless to say, that should have never happened, and I'm sorry. Naruto apologized, with Ainge saying nothing for a while. In that room, I was barely aware of what was happened, and denied that I was a Norma. Then that bitch stripped me of my ring, tore my dress apart, had that woman chain me to the table, and struck that arm up my ass. Then she and that woman left for a while, and then you come in with a blank look on your face. It was like you didn't hear me when I yelled out to you as you had your way with me, until Jill came in minutes later and beat you down. I thought you were lying when you insisted you didn't remember, but those rumors about you being drugged were true. Your superior is quite the character, Ainge remarked as Naruto laid flowers on the graves. Explains the bruises and stinging on my body. I don't consider that bitch to be my superior anymore. She completely shattered my trust in her, and lost my loyalty. I was used so that she could gain your undying loyalty by saving you from me. It didn't, did it? Naruto asked, with Ainge narrowing her eyes. If that was her plan, she's failed. Can I borrow your knife? Naruto shrugged and handed Ainge his combat knife. Who used to cut her hair short? I'm a blank state now, she said as she handed the knife back to Naruto. There's nothing left for me. There's nothing I need. No past, no name, nothing. I won't die as easily as you did. I will claw the ground, drink muddy water, vomit blood, and anything necessary to survive. I will live on, kill, and live. Naruto nodded. I'll live. You did the but Ainge grabbed him by his collar, complete with a death glare. We're not friends. I'll never forget what you did to me, even if it was done against your will. You touch me, you die, she threatened. Naruto rolled his eyes and suddenly smacked her on the back of her head, shocking her. I'll take my chances, he said, also smacking her on the ass as he passed her, but let me leave you with this, fuck with me. And we'll see who shits on the sidewalk. Don't push it. Touché. Burn Princess. Ending theme. Rinrei Imperious Bell by Eri Kitamura. Zola's room. I can't believe you bought Zola's room. An impressed Sake said as she, Naruto, CC, Colin, and Ayano entered the exotic room. Couldn't let this gem go to waste. That and get it before Hilda. Naruto admitted, as he sat some boxes down and the girls putting their own boxes with Naruto's own. Here's the extra keys. He tossed them to the members of his squad and plopped down on the bed as the girls swept the room completely for bugs. They found one, no doubt planted by Jill, and smashed it. The time draws near for us to break away. The problem is that there's a new rider for Vilcus. CC commented with Naruto groaning. Doesn't change our objective, but it does speed up our timetable. Naruto remarked as he sat up. A few days from now, we're heading back to the island for a 2-week training retreat. Disguised as a way to get back to the bus on the island to make it operational for good, right? Ayano guessed with a smirk as she grabbed a few beers from the fridge. You bet your sweet ass we are. Naruto confirmed while catching a beer that Ayano threw to him and the others as the opening of beers were heard. Here to getting the hell out of here, taking the fight to that jabroni embryo. And changing the status quo of this world of mana. But most of all, to the greatest woman we all had the pleasure of knowing, a woman who's twice the woman that Jill could ever be. Here's to Zola Axberg. Here, Colin said as they all toasted their beer bottle and drunk. She's got good taste. That she does, Naruto agreed, smiling as they drunk some more. Commander's office. Il took a smoke as she looked at the open folders of Naruto and Ainge. Despite the recent setbacks, she was proud that Vilcus was reactivated by Ainge, and was now active in her forces. However she couldn't afford Naruto and Ainge being lovey-dovey, which is why she tried to make Naruto out to be the bad guy to her via Vatura, but her underestimate the influence he shared with Zola, and didn't sue. NT on the fact that the girls on the island know Naruto too well, or the fact that Naruto recovered his memories in his drugged state. But didn't matter. It was for the sake of Libertas after all. Soon embryo. You will get what's coming to you for your trickery. And Naruto, Ainge, and Vilcus will be the bow and arrows that pierce your black heart, even if it cost them their lives, whether they want or not. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.